Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2006 here in TEW 2020, and yes, it's time for Superbrawl 16, live from the Madison Square Garden in beautiful New York City, New York. As yes, we've gone to the Garden. I figure if ROH New Japan can pull it off in 2023, we could pull it off in 2006 with actual successful WCW. Like, I didn't do it before because we were behind them, and so I could sort of argue the reasons why it wouldn't happen. But with this happening, why the hell not? But we started with our opening video, set to Safe in New York City by AC/DC, going over the big matches of the show, the women's three-way, Angle Kidman, the world title match, Goldberg Wright, the six-man elimination wildcard match, and more, along with, sights of New York City going through as, we open the show, and we move on to our first match of the evening, the U.S. title match between Keenan, Sharpe, and Paul London, as the opening video itself gets a 76. And next up is that United States title match between Keenan, Sharpe, and Paul London. Of course, Keenan Sharpe has been talked about getting Paul London on the path and taking away that United States title as something that is distracting Paul London from the way he should be on the correct path, but it's a material position that he shouldn't be obsessing over. And Paul London just says, he's a champion because he wants to be the best in WCW, and he knows that, Paul Keenan Sharpe actually wants that title, no matter what BS he spews. And this match, as you expect, there's a hot little start with London hitting sort of a, big crossbot, big plancha onto Keenan Sharpe on the outside, but eventually Sharpe takes back over, with some technical holds, taking down London, slowing him down, going after his knees, going after his back, hitting a big fireman's carry into a backbreaker, beat downs, locking some Boston crabs, locking some various holds. He picks up London for a big tilt-a-whirl powerbomb, but London turns into a Frankensteiner to get the advantage back. He hits a big aside moonsault for a near fall, hits the drop salt for a near fall to a big pop, but as he's picking him up, Sharpe goes low, taking back advantage, hitting a quick DDT, taking him down, picking up into a suplex, locking in some other holds, building up, wearing down London. London eventually, Sharpe eventually locks in a modified guillotine choke, but London, gets to the ropes. Sharpe is back on the attack, and actually hits a big belly to back suplex, and then hits a triangle choke for, again, to try to lock in submission. But London actually manages to power it out and get narrowly to the ropes. London shocked everybody by locking in a chicken wing and then hitting a big face buster on Sharpe to a big pop. Sharpe goes back on the offense, hitting a big springboard drop kick, then a tornado DDT for a near fall, hits a rolling clothesline, hits a big super kick to a pop, goes up top, hits a modified sun split powerbomb from the top rope for near fall. Sharpe comes back in, goes on the attack again, but he goes for a big STO. London blocks it, hits a big modified DDT of his own. Sharpe gets up, walks straight into another super kick. London grabs him, big backbreaker, goes up top with London calling. Sharpe blocks it. He goes for a DDT from the top rope, but London self blocks it, hits a top rope Frankensteiner to a huge pop, and then goes up top. London calling 1, 2, 3. Your winner and still United States champion is Paul London. This match does really well, a lot more than expected. 90 pure spots here, as it gets a 90. There's a lack of psychology. London gets a 93. Sharpe gets an 88. But honestly, these guys, they're putting out great matches, but they're not quite over enough to be top of the card guys, but they're getting really close. There's no reason they shouldn't be, except for the fact I don't have space for them. That's why I kept London as U.S. champion, because otherwise you'd have to start being main event stuff. I'm not quite ready to what to do with him yet. But he did just have a world title match, so he's sort of in that floating range. As for Sharpe, well, again, I always forget he's actually really good in the ring in this version of reality, so I just have to figure out something for him to do after this. But anyway, let's move on to our next match on the show. Well, actually, first, Lynn celebrates to a 70. And next up is our second title match of the evening, as the social scene of Annie Rivell and Nikki Ratcliffe defend the titles against Desiree, Dawkins, and Lexi James of Captivation. Of course, Captivation basically called out the social scene, saying, that they could take those titles if they want. Social scene basically said prove it, and now it's set up. And, the story of this match is basically social scene are a tag team. They work well together. Maybe they aren't the most talented, members of the roster, but they've been wrestling together for a while now, including up in a WQ developmental territory, and they're together, and they're pretty solid. Vital's more of a fighter, hitting like various moves to lock in, hitting like sort of big jawbreakers or modified stunners, hitting random big brawling elbows to fight. Nikki Roxx, doing her own sort of like powerhouse style of a bit, throwing both Lexi James and Desiree Dawkins around. But Lexi James is a former women's champion, so she fights back along with some cheating help from Desiree Dawkins, who's the sort of like undersized, annoying spark plug. Continually running in, breaking up pinfalls. Distracting the faces for Lexi to take advantage. Lexi gets a late near fall with the big kick, followed by the Lexi DDT for a near fall as Nikki Radcliffe gets her foot on the ropes. Nikki Radcliffe fights back with several big moves, including a modified Polish hammer, which I have to figure out a better party name related to. Picks her up, and then he goes for the party plant, aka the voodoo plant, aka sort of like that impact DDT. But Desiree Dawkins comes in and blocks it. Big brawler break things up. Eventually, Desiree Dawkins is the actual legal woman. Amy Silver comes in, hits a big sunset flip powerbomb onto Dawkins, and then Nikki Radcliffe nails her with that party plant. 1, 2, 3. Your winners, and still your WCW Women's World Tag Team Champions are the Social Scene, as they pick up their 4th title defense here at Superbrawl in a 71. Solid match. Amy Battle gets a 65, Radcliffe gets a 67, Dawkins gets a 63, Lexi James gets a 62. Yeah, we're in a weird universe where Mickey James, Alexis Lurie, whatever you want to call her, is sort of stuck in the mid card. I want to do stuff with her, but like she hasn't quite had that spark yet to really do something. And Social Scene are sort of like, there's a reason why they're keeping the tag titles, and it's for another story. And plus, they've been doing pretty well. Honestly, of sort of like the women I've brought up in the past year or so, they've probably done the best because I pushed them the biggest. Weird how that works out. Anyway, the women celebrate to a 35, and there we go. As we move forward to our next match here at Super Brawl. And next match is a interesting match setup, as basically, we have Brother Ray taking on Lance Storm, as really talking about the disrespect he's been getting basically ever since he lost the world title match at Bound for Glory last year, including losing the number 1 contenders match. And now he's been in a feud with Eddie Guerrero, the last month or so, but Eddie Guerrero was ruled out of Super Brawl thanks to a concussion, and he was very upset, and basically, told Eric Bischoff to get a replacement else. Lance Storm offered to step in, and even though he's basically turned face, fans are still a little wary, but who knows? Maybe this is a big setup, or maybe this is just Lance Storm wanting to get a shot at a pay-per-view. Anyway, we're in New York, so Brother Ray and Lance Storm both get big pop for being ECW adjacent. And the announcers put over that both men agreed to relax rules for this match, both in honor of the Land of Extreme, and also because they want no questions about who's the winner here. And then this is just basically what you expect from Brother Ray versus Lance Storm match. Storm tries some technical holds, Brother Ray's brawling, throwing around, Storm coming back with a few big moves, holding, getting Brother Ray in some in a couple arm locks, leg locks, taking down, hitting a couple big super kicks. To lock in the Kenny Maple Leaf early, but Brother Ray's too close to the ropes. Ray comes back with his own power moves, big gorilla press slams, just throw him to the outside, big fight on the outside, but Ray gets a little too cocky, runs into the, barricade, but Lance Storm gets out of the way. Storm takes over, hitting a big sort of like modified Northern Light suplex on the outside, throwing it back in, hitting a top rope drop kick to a big pop. Going for the Canadian Maple Leaf, but Brother Ray powers out, hits a big power slam, goes up top for the diving shoulder block, but Storm gets out of the way. Storm locks in a modified armbar chicken wing type maneuver, but Brother Ray powers out of it into a sort of like modified electric chair slam. Both men were all to the outside. Lance Storm actually throws Brother Ray, into the barricade again, hits a big super kick, goes under, gets a table to a big pop from the crowd. But as he's coming over, Brother Ray grabs him, get advantage, and hits a big lariat. But he goes for a powerbomb, but Lance Storm turns it into a backdrop, and Lance Storm goes to the table to a big pop. Brother Ray goes to the table to a big mix pop. Brother Ray, Lance Storm tosses him in, but as he's pulling him up, Lance Storm's actually going for a big suplex, but Brother Ray shifts his weight. There's a ref bump. Lance Storm walks straight into a big lariat, and then Brother Ray rolls outside, gets a chair, and as Lance Storm gets out, Brother Ray just absolutely whops him as the ref recovers. Big, full Nelson bomb. 1, 2, 3, and your winner is Brother Ray. So this is another really good match. Storm gets a 77, Brother Ray gets a 92, gets an 83 overall. Let's see, Storm usually does pretty well. Was there any face heel combination? Okay, yeah, I keep on forgetting Storm will be penalized for not being a very good babyface. I don't know about that. Like, he was a solid babyface by the end of his run. To be fair, this is also 2006, so sort of like he's never actually been a face in this version of reality. So okay, I get it. But yeah, mostly cheers because this is New York. This is like probably some of an ECW crowd, and also he's a face, so he's to get away with doing bullshit. Brother Ray celebrates with 74 as the answers put over that he's as he sort of yells into the camera, "Garo, you're up next," and all that fun stuff. And as we move on to the next match here at Superbrawl 16 at Madison Square Garden, a sold-out crowd. And next up is a very interesting tag match. This is, of course, a few weeks back, I think almost a month now. Basically, Ken Anderson was up against the match against Tank Toland after Toland said he proved he belongs there on the top of the card of Nitro. But all showed up, it would be a big setup as Titus Tomko of, Tomko Production Agency came out and attacked Anderson in 2-1 beatdown. So Anderson has been at war against both men for the past few weeks, and eventually a couple weeks ago, Truth made the save for Anderson after a supposed beatdown, setting up this big tag match as Ken Anderson and Truth takes on Titus Tomko and Tank Toland. And this match is basically a mess right from the start. Like, this is just all four guys, like, brawling. It's a complete car crash. Ref never really gets a hold of it. There's little moments where everybody gets inside. Anderson going after Toland, hitting a, face wash, hitting a knee lift, going for the mic check, but Tomko, after sort of like tossing the Truth to the outside, coming and attacking Anderson, big brawling, two big guys kicking the crap out of each other. Eventually, Truth comes in, hits one of his corkscrew elbows, goes after, Toland. Toland hits his big spine buster for a near fall, but Anderson breaks it up. Eventually, he does his, Truth does a little like split thing where he then gets up big moves, goes for the Truth conviction on Tomko, but Tomko blocks it and just throws him around. Tomko hits a big boot and sets him up for a big power bomb, but Truth blocks it and turns it into sort of a DD from the top. Truth goes up top, but Tomko catches him into a big power slam. In comes out of nowhere after tossing Toland into the ringside barrier. Anderson coming out from the back, going after Tomko. Anderson actually gets him up into the mic check, but Toland comes in, drills Anderson in on the knees. Tomko gets a near fall off of that. Eventually, the fight continues. Anderson and Tomko end up on the outside. Anderson and Toland end up on the outside brawling, and that's just enough of a distraction for Tomko to drill. As refs trying to get hold of things, that's enough for Tomko to drill the Truth with a briefcase. Tomko brought down the ringside because he's protection, and then nails him with the Tomko. With the Tomko cutter. 1, 2, 3. Titus Tomko, Tank Toland's security, gets a big pinfall victory over the Truth here at Superbrawl. So as you expect, this is a car crash match with sort of a mess. It gets a 73. Truth gets an 83. Anderson gets an 86. Toland gets a 69. Tomko gets a 56. Had to protect Truth here because obviously he was not happy about taking pinfall here. So he's kept strong here. Was there anything else that was really bad about this match? Bonus. Okay, basically, Titus Tomko, not the best wrestler in the world. He's nailed for stamina after only 13 minutes. Jesus Christ, man. Come on, work out a little bit. Toland inconsistency, that's fine. That's the whole thing, is he's not the best. But fun stuff here as, the heels get a big victory. And post-match, Toland and Anderson continue to brawl to the back before WWE officials break it up, as this feud appears not to be over quite yet. And next up is a big match as Douglas Roberts tries to win back his Cruiserweight Championship from Maverick Champs, aka Matt Cross, who of course made his debut in a big way. Eventually taking the Cruiserweight Championship, and now Roberts wants it back. And this is just pure spots. This is Maverick Chance, of course, the extreme athlete, X Games, enthusiast, kind of right from the beginning with a big sort of like springboard corkscrew plancha onto Roberts right from the start, maybe even hitting Tracy because she can take a bump, throwing Roberts around. Eventually, Roberts takes the match back, slows it down with some takedowns and holds, hits a big sort of like, German suplex, hits a couple of big knees, tries to lock him into a submission. Chance rolls out of it, hits a few big moves of his own, hits sort of like DDT, hits a sort of fireman's carry takeover, hits a hits a springboard cutter for a near fall. Roberts comes back, Grace Roberts distracts Chance just enough for Roberts to take advantage. He's actually able to hit his sort of like Northern Lights 2K1 hold, but Cross gets his shoulder up. He goes for a big sort of like a fisherman's DDT, and then he tries to lock in the stretch plum, but basically, Chance fights him off, locks in his own quick submission that Roberts gets out of. Big fight. Roberts takes back at the advantage, hits a sort of like tiger suplex, goes up top, frog splash. Chance gets his knees up, drills Roberts with a big tiger bomb as the crowd pops and Tracy's upset outside. He goes out to the top rope, corkscrew 450, death from above. 1, 2, 3. Maverick Chance defends the WCW Cruiserweight Championship once again here at Superbrawl in a match that gets a 55 because of the pre-show bonus pre-show ding. But Roberts gets 64, Chance gets a 60, 55 overall. Was there anything else wrong with the match outside of that? Probably not. Let's see here. Bray Jr. is a good road agent, so that's good to know. He can become the official road agent of Cruiser matches on Nitro, while Dean takes over it on Revolution. High heat, inconsistency, yeah. Anyway, fun stuff. Maverick celebrates with the belt, and this gets a 47 as the announcers sort of like go over the fact that he disapproves. Chance is currently in charge of the Cruiserweight division, whether Roberts likes it or not. And now it's time for what one could argue is one of the most interesting matches on the show, as is the wild card 6-man as Sean O'Haire, Rob Van Dam, and Magnificent Mark Jindrak have to take on Trick Palumbo, Keenan, and Mesias in an elimination match where whoever survives from either team will then face off, if necessary, in a match on Revolution and become the next normal contender from Revolution. And there's an interesting start to the match as Mesias isn't there. The first team comes out to various pops from the crowd, then out comes Palumbo and Kanyon actually, coming out to Palumbo's music, arguing as Mesias is not there. As sort of 3-on-2 from the start, and Jindrak and RVD sort of take advantage. Eric gets his shots in, and it looks like Kanyon's about to get pinned after a peak of perfection, that's the name, and a 5-star frog splash from the first team there. But then the lights go out, his music comes in. And he comes in, and here's the thing. He chokeslams Jindrak, he chokeslams Van Dam. O'Haire comes in, he chokeslams O'Haire, but then he turns around, and he chokeslams Palumbo as well, and then he walks out of the match. But that's enough for Kanyon to then come in and drill Jindrak with a Kanyon cutter, as he wasn't actually chokeslam, so he had a little bit of recovery time, and gets a pinfall victory, thus making a tag team match as Mesias basically, counted out himself. And also on Palumbo and Keenan versus O'Haire and Van Dam. Back and forth match. O'Haire and Van Dam actually seem to shockingly work pretty well together. O'Haire with his big power moves. Van Dam flying around, doing some, sneaky heel stuff. As, O'Haire doesn't want him to. Heyman on the outside doing Heyman stuff. And Palumbo and Kanyon, don't work quite as well. They aren't quite as working well as together. But, Palumbo is still a former world champion. Well, actually, all 4 men are former world champions. And eventually, what happens is, this is sort of the whole middle portion of the match. The first couple minutes are the brawl, and then, then there's Mesias coming in 3 to 5 minutes in, and then this is sort of this whole entire middle of the match. So we get, Palumbo and Kanyon taking advantage first, but then Van Dam gets, sort of his hot streak. Then O'Haire gets tagged in. He gets his, babyface hot-fire tag, even though it's against one babyface. O'Haire and Kanyon have a little bit of a back and forth. Palumbo comes in and attacks O'Haire, letting Kanyon get pissed at him. But then Rob Van Dam goes after Kanyon, so Palumbo gets pissed at Van Dam. Things break down. Unfortunately, what happens is Palumbo walks straight into a O'Haire Widowmaker. 1, 2, 3, and it's 2-on-1 against Kanyon. And here's the thing. Kanon's on his own, but he has a babyface, but O'Hare's a babyface. But so RVD takes like early, like doing, beating down Kanon. Kanon comes in, gets the babyface fire back. Things like it's going to be a big, comeback win as Kanyon nails the Cannon Cutter on RVD, but Heyman puts the rest foot on the ropes, and O'Hare doesn't say a damn thing about it. We get a mixed pop. Palumbo Kannon gets pissed and walks straight into a big, attack from behind from our friend Nadam. O'Hare gets tagged in, hits his big boot, his power slam, he goes for the Widowmaker. Kanyon turns it into a DDT. Kanyon then goes up to the top rope, but Heyman shakes the ropes just enough for O'Hare to recover, or distracts Kanyon just enough for him to recover as he, climbing up, as he's heading up for the Cannon Cutter after hitting a big sort of like top rope crossbody. That allows O'Hare to recover, hit a big spear on Kanyon. RVD comes in, RVD tags himself in, hits the 5-star frog splash. 1, 2, 3. O'Hare and Rob Van Dam survives. So this overall gets a 77, as you can guess, probably for the face heel combination and probably the heat. So Jindrak gets a 73, RVD gets an 88, O'Hare gets a 78, Mesias gets a 78, Ken gets an 87, Plum gets an 84. If we look at sort of like the bad stuff, let's see here. Oh, also, right, I had this as the storytelling match. So that's also where everybody held back. So yeah, probably would have been like a mid-80s maybe without the odd face heel combination. Kane's at, declining physical ability. But yeah, so solid little match, like wacky angle. But again, I didn't have like a great storyline for any of these guys specifically, so this builds up something for the future. And there we go. And of course, post-match, O'Hare and RVD face off. I can just put over these two men will now face off each other on a future Revolution to earn the next title shot for that show. Now it's time for another big match as the ultimate underdog here, at least tonight. Jack Evans takes on Monty Brown. Of course, Monty Brown has wanted to be on a path of destruction since the new year, wanting to reorient himself, and he's been pretty dominant so far. Jack Evans basically called him out, and Brown laughed him off, but Evans said he had a few big moments, like sort of like putting some doubt in Monty Brown's eyes. But, unfortunately, he's still Monty Brown, and Jack Evans still Jack Evans, so Evans is still, the big betting underdog here tonight. But here's the thing. He knows he is the underdog, so he comes out first, and as Monty Brown is coming out of the ring, Jack Evans hits a huge plancha. I know I should probably start doing that spot for every single match, but like he's just on the offense, like stick and move, doesn't seem like a butterfly right from the start, quick plancha, quick, sort of like run across the barricade, drop kick, quick moves as Brown chases him. Eventually the match gets in the ring. Evans continues to be on offense for the first couple of minutes, just, springboard, quick kick, quick drop kick, quick elbow as Brown is down on the feet. As, Monty recovers, Jack Evans comes from behind with a big bulldog, taking him down again. But that can only work so long, so after a couple of minutes, Evans goes for one more springboard. Brown catches him and just belly bells to suplex him right into the corner. And then, as he's walking out, big power slam. Evans gets up, pounce. But it's such a big pounce, and Evans takes such a big bump that he actually pounces to the side of the ring and then rolls out of the ring. So Monty goes after him, but as Evans, as he's sending Evans to the corner, Evans actually reverses it. So Monty takes a bump into the barricade. Evans actually runs the barricade again, hits a Rana onto Brown on the outside, gets him back in the ring, goes for a big corkscrew 450, and actually hits it. Monty Brown kicks out at 2 with authority. And so Jack Evans goes up top again. But that was one too many. Brown's ready for him. Tosses him from the top rope. Big bump onto the floor, onto the mat. Jack Evans gets up. Pounce again. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, now at 10 minutes, is Monty Brown. 88 overall. Monty Brown gets an 84. Jack Evans gets a 93. We're going to be in a world where I have to make Jack Evans a world champion sometime in the future. But yeah, so, Jack Evans did his best here, but Monty Brown is Monty Brown, and he seems like a man on an absolute mission in this early part of 2006. As post-match, Monty Brown, does his celebration to 72 as we move forward here at Revolution. Now it's time for Bill Goldberg to hopefully get some revenge, as Goldberg takes on Alex Wright. Of course, Alex Wright, faced Goldberg, and basically, Goldberg got the win, I believe. No, wait, yeah, Goldberg got the win for his DQ, and Alex Wright basically attacked him and tried to take him out by attacking his knee with a chair. But Goldberg eventually returned, and now he wants his revenge against Bill Goldberg, against Alex Wright here at Superbrawl. But as Bill Goldberg is coming down in the ring in Madison Square Garden for the first time, Alex Wright comes down and just drills him with a chair shot to the knee. He hits it again, and he hits it again, and then he grabs Bill Goldberg and he tosses him into the ring. Goldberg basically, gotten down all the way down the ringside when Wright comes in and just walloped him a couple times, and the match is on. Wright just goes after the knee, brutalizing it, kicks, knee bar, knee drop, knee breaker, just kicks in elbows. But Goldberg fights back. Goldberg gets up on one foot, and as Wright goes after it again, Goldberg actually is able to grab him, hit him with a quick belly-to-belly suplex, but he's slow to get up. So Wright goes after him, but again, Goldberg is ready, takes him down, and he actually hits this sort of gut-wrench suplex into a leg hold of his opponent. He did, but Wright is able to get to the ropes. But Goldberg hits a few, Goldberg saws him down, so he hits a few big, punches and kicks. It looks like Wright, Goldberg's making the comeback trail. But, as he's going for an Irish whip, his knees buckle, Wright reverses it, and is able to hit him with a big sort of knee lift. Hits a quick sort of bulldog, and as he's getting up, hits him with another big drop kick to take him down to the mat. And then he locks in a single leg Boston Crab on that bad knee as Goldberg slowly gets to the ropes. But as he almost gets to him, Wright drags him to the outside, but Goldberg powers out of it, sends Wright into the corner. Goldberg tosses him with a big suplex, and as he's getting up, big spear to a big pop, and he picks him up. Jackhammer. No. Goldberg's legs buckle as he almost has him up, and he collapses. Wright gets up with an evil smirk, picks up Goldberg, single arm DDT, and he locks in the STF right in the middle of the ring. But Goldberg refuses to give up. He's in it for 20 seconds. He's in it for 30 seconds. He's in it for 40 seconds. He's in it for a minute. The ref checks, and Goldberg isn't out, but he's still refusing to tap out. And quickly, Wright locks it in holder. And eventually, after nearly 2 minutes, the ref calls for the bell because he knows Goldberg is never going to give up, but he wants to save his career. So Goldberg gets the win via referee stoppage after a little over 12 minutes. This only gets an 80, I think because it was the length of the match. As Wright gets an 85, Goldberg gets a 91, because there's no negatives here, so I think it's just the length of the match. Unless I'm forgetting something obvious. Maybe the finish? I guess Goldberg was kept strong, but I had to be a taken finish, because that's the only way I could write in Goldberg gets whacked before the match. But yeah, so Goldberg's out and referees are attending to him, and Wright is celebrating to the boos of the crowd as the announcers put over that Alex Wright may have just completely taken out the man here at Superbrawl 16 in New York City. 73 for the celebration as we move forward here in Superbrawl to our last 4 big matches. Next up is a big women's match as Tricia, Skye, and Lizzy Dumas reignited their feud that's been going on since they were both entered wrestling, basically, and were part of the women's division someplace else. And now they've been fighting to be the number 1 contender, and after several inconclusive finishes, Kalt agreed to take them on both. And, this match starts hot from the start. Tricia, Skye going after Lizzy Dumas, Kalt coming in, hanging her shots in. But eventually what happens is, there's a spot near the middle of the match, and Lizzy actually goes for a big moonsault, but Nikita Kalt gets out of the way, and Lizzy Dumas lands weird, and for the rest of the match, she seems to be favoring one of her feet, and there's a few distracted spots, but eventually things get back on gear, and we get to the almost finish of the match as Tricia Skye actually hits the Sky's Limit onto Lizzy Dumas, onto Nikita Kalt, and she's going to get the finish, but Lizzy comes in and breaks it up to a longer count than usual, making sure she's going after, sure, her foot seems to be messed up. Dumas actually hits the twist of fate on Tricia Skye, and he actually decides not to go up to the top, maybe because she's injured. She talked to the ref yelling at her, but maybe not yelling at her, but telling her something. She goes for the pinfall. Nikita breaks it up. Tricia Skye wipes Nikita Kalt out of the way. Tricia Skye goes for the Sky's the Limit. But again, she goes for the pinfall. Kalt comes in, but instead of going after Skye, she tosses Skye to the outside, picks up Dumas, icebreaker, backbreaker. No, she rolls to hit the backbreaker, then she picks Dumas up, second rope, icebreaker, backbreaker from the second rope. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, and still WCW Women's Champion, is Nikita Kalt. So yeah, unfortunately, this match got disrupted by injury. This gets a 68, still went the usual length of the match. Dumas gets a 69, Skye gets a 78, Kalt gets an 82 because of the injury. Skye looks good, Kalt looks excellent. This gets a 68. Let's see if there was anybody who got dinged for it. Nope. Okay, just like so. Yeah, actually, my spot where I made up was a bad moonsault. Makes sense. Kalt celebrates to a 72, and yeah, so Kalt, it seems, has gotten the big win here. So will be next contender, and will the feud between Dumas and Skye continue? Honestly, it probably depends on how long Dumas is out. So big win for Kalt here as she defends her title once again at Superbrawl. Next up is our big tag title match as Booker and Shelton defend the titles against Ninkyo. Of course, Ninkyo were the champions going to Starrcade, but as part of Tag Team Tomorrow, they dropped the titles to Booker and Shelton. Ninkyo, along with their manager, Stacy Kiebler, believed basically they should, they would have had the one kept the titles at Starrcade if, basically Booker and Shelton had not had the advantage. But we'll just see what happens here, as this is a very good match right from the start. Superb wrestling, lots of heat, as these four wrestlers are all very solid wrestlers. Booker is getting a little old. Shelton's not quite, well known with the fans, but Kaz and Yang have quickly become one of the top heel teams in the company, and they just, they do their stuff. Yang flies around, Kaz kicks people in the head, does this sort of modified offense that if we sort of turn him into here. WCW, some suplexes, some big kicks. Shelton fights back with his own Billy Bill suplexes, flying around. Kaz and Shelton have a big, fun little 3 to 5 minute segment in the middle of the match where they just go after each other. I guess it would be All Japan / Integrity style here, with lots of big moves and kickouts. Eventually, Booker T comes in. He hits his spots. He's just really over still because he's freaking Booker T. But near the end of the match, Yang goes for a dive onto Booker T, and it seems to be a weird bump Booker T takes, but the match continues. And on the inside, Shelton Benjamin and Kaz are legal men. Kaz actually goes for the kick of doom, but Shelton Benjamin ducks under it, drills him with the belly to back suplex, hits him with a exploder suplex, then hits the pay dirt. 1, 2, 3 to pick up, to retain the WCW World Tag Team Champions and defend the titles for the third time here as their reign continues. And yeah, this gets 79 because Booker T got injured, neck nerve damage. We are having some bad luck with injuries tonight. I hope, now I'm praying for these last two matches now. Shelton gets an 81, Booker gets an 80 due to the injury, Yang gets an 81, Kaz gets a friggin' 98. This was the original finish, so maybe it would have been different if Booker was involved in the finish, but since he wasn't, who knows? Let's see here. Booker T says nectar. Okay, so again, he just took a bad bump. But, Shelton probably mostly celebrates as Booker holds his neck, as this gets a 71, as we move forward to our semi-final match here at Superbrawl. Next up is our semi-final event of the evening, as Kurt Angle's second match is against another former world champion, as he takes on Kidman. Kidman comes down here to prove a point that Kurt Angle, but he's Kidman, a former WCW world champion and one of the best in the world. And in the early going, he actually goes hold for hold with Kurt Angle. Angle's obviously better, but Kidman does his reversals, does some pro wrestling, modified versions of the hold, hammerlock into a sort of roll up, small package into a leg lock, is able to reverse sort of a takedown from Angle into a move as his own. And we get several back and forth mentions. That stuff that, Tony Schiavone can't keep up with. But eventually, Kidman takes the advantage, takes Angle down, some DDTs, some quick holds, a big he doesn't actually play face here, but he does a little bit since he's now the undersized part. He hits a few of his old, flying moves, springboard, bulldog into a, then he gets a sort of like, big super kick into an aside moonsault for a near fall. Angle fights back though, as he goes for the kid crusher, but Angle turns into an electric chair drop. Then Angle goes on his roll, suplexes, belly back suplexes, goes for the Angle slam early, but Kidman gets around it, turns into a rolling reverse cradle for a near fall. Kidman then sends Angle to the outside, hits a baseball slide, takes advantage of the outside with some heel work. Angle, reverses throw in and sends Kidman into the steps into the post. But Angle's able to get out of the way as Angle rushes, and then Angle takes a bump onto the post of himself. And then Kidman takes over, hits a sort of like sliding baseball slide through the corner, which I'm sure you've seen from other people. Kidman then kicks the crap out of Angle on the outside, then throws him in. Hits a sort of like modified butterfly suplex, locks in a sort of like not guillotine, but rather a sort of like modified sharpshooter with a crossface. Angle barely gets to the ropes. Kidman then sets him up for the kid crusher. Angle blocks it again. Kidman picks him up again. Angle blocks it. Angle, eventually Kidman takes him up, goes for a suplex, but Angle reverses it. He goes back on offense. Big belly back, belly to belly. Takedowns, actually nails the Angle slam, but April Hunter puts his foot on the ropes, put Kidman's foot on the ropes. Angle is pissed, yells at her. Kidman from behind with a small package, putting his foot on the ropes, but Angle kicks out strong. He then nails a huge Angle slam onto Billy Kidman. April Hunter gets on the ropes, gets up on the top rope, tries to get inside. Angle takes her, hit a big Angle slam onto April Hunter because she'll take the bump and it'll lead to a big pop. And then, but that allows Kidman to actually come from behind, nail, chop block, Angle, pick him up, kid crusher, 1, 2, huge kick out, big pop. Kidman actually hits him again with the kid crusher, but he actually goes up top, shooting star press. Angle rolls out of the way. Angle immediately locks on the ankle lock, and with nowhere to go, Billy Kidman has to tap out. And in a little under 23 minutes in a really good match, would have been better if there were a little heat for the feud, and Tony Schiavone was not Tony Schiavone. They actually have great chemistry, which is interesting for the future, and they get a 91 here. Kidman got a 97, Angle got a 100 because he's Kurt friggin' Angle in 2006. Match got the crowd hotter, but yeah, if you look down here, it's basically Tony Schiavone rolled badly and low heat for the storyline, which is unfortunate, but everybody else did really well here. But yeah, post-match, Angle celebrates to the cheers of the crowd as this gets a 71. And now it's time for our main event. Of course, AJ Styles is our reigning world champion. Jeff Jarrett's a 4-time world champion and wants to prove those were not flukes back during a certain New York video clerk's reign as head writer. So first, Jeff Jarrett comes out to the boos of the crowd to a 74. As he answers, go over his history in the business. And then AJ Styles comes out to a big pop, getting a 73. And then it's time for our main event as the two men face off. Now it's time for our main event. AJ Styles taking on Jeff Jarrett. And this match starts out hot as, as soon as A Styles gets in the ring, Jarrett goes after him with some brawling. Styles fights back. Styles actually hits a few big moves early, hits a big discus clothesline, goes outside and actually drills Jarrett with a phenomenal forearm for a near fall. But as he's picking Styles up, Jarrett hits a low blow, hits a big quick snap suplex, picks him up, swinging neck breaker, and begins to work on Styles' knees. Big, kicks, knee breaker, knee lock, knee hold, all the fun stuff. He goes for the figure 4 actually pretty early. Styles blocks it, kicks him into the corner, hits a big drop kick, followed by the belly kick. He then sends Jarrett into the corner, hits a big elbow, hits a sort of like modified suplex, goes out to the corner again for a phenomenal forearm, but Jarrett gets out of the way. Jarrett takes back over, locks him in, hits a big sort of like power slam and locks in a sleeper hold to the boos of the crowd. Styles fights out of it, tosses Jarrett to the outside. Styles hits a punch onto Jarrett. Jarrett tosses him into the corner. Jarrett eventually gets back to the advantage on the outside, tosses Styles into the post, hits a couple quick punches, hits a DDT on the outside, sends Styles inside, locks in the figure 4 right in the middle of the ring, but eventually Styles powers out of it, turns it back over to the cheers of the crowd, but then Jarrett gets to the ropes, both men down. Jarrett gets up a little slower. Styles takes back the advantage, fights back. Jarrett goes low, hits him, takes him down with a quick sort of like, bulldog. But Frank Steiner kicks out. Styles kips up, shocks him with a Frank Steiner for near fall, sends him to the corner, Pele kick. Jarrett sort of, stumbles out. Styles hits him with a quick 2 punches, followed by a kick to the thigh, followed by a spinning back fist, followed by the discus lariat, known as Phenomenal Blitz, to a big pop, but then to a to sort of a lower pop, because the crowd doesn't know the hold, but to sort of a big pop from Jim Ross on announcing. He locks in the Muda lock to try to get submission on Jarrett. Jarrett eventually powers out of it, getting to the ropes, but he's slowed down. AJ goes to the outside. He hits the phenomenal forearm, but as he's going for the pinfall, simply Johnny Devine comes down to ringside, puts his foot on the ropes. Styles is upset at Devine. Jarrett comes from behind and then kicks the crap out of him. Styles rolls to the outside, gets kicked to the outside. Jarrett, then the ref yells at Jarrett, but with the ref on the outside, ref with his back to Styles and Jarrett, yelling at him. Johnny Devine comes over, divine intervention on the floor, on AJ Styles. Jeff Jarrett rolls him inside, picks him up, stroke, 1, 2, 3. No, AJ Styles kicks out right before 3. Big pop for that. Jarrett, basically says fine, picks him up for the stroke again. Styles blocks it, hits a modified cutter, hits a big plancha on a Divine as he's on the outside, comes back in. Jarrett is still down. He comes in, hits a big phenomenal forearm, picks him up. Styles clash. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, and still WCW World Champion, is AJ Styles. So here's the thing. I forgot I never had Jarrett and Styles actually face off in a singles match, so they had bad chemistry. Jarrett got 74, Styles got an 80, but thanks to all the other positives of the feud and themselves, they still got a friggin' 89. So let me just see your positive. Slowly built the match, star quality, good momentum, all that fun stuff from AJ. Quality bonus from higher experience, bonus from the road agent work, bonus from high heat, very hot crowd. Poor gimmick for AJ, but that'll work. Jarrett got intensity, but a very good night as AJ Styles holds on to the WCW World title. Jarrett rolls out, but as AJ is celebrating, the whatever rockified music version of a Bach or Handel or insert 16th century composer here we're using for Alex Wright hits, and Das Wunderbar comes out to the top of the ramp, and he simply stares down AJ Styles. As it appears, AJ Styles has his next opponent set, possibly. Overall, 87 for that, and as we move forward, the show itself gets us an 87. Okay, so we're at the point where an 87 doesn't get regarded any popularity changes, but let's see. Let's go over the show. Honestly, Keenan Sharpe, you get it for having a banger. Great performance. Let's see. Billy Kidman, you did the job, but you got a friggin' 97, brother. So you get a great performance. Okay, so both. We'll give Booker T a hug, especially if he's actually injured. So there we go. So we got Sharpe, we got Kidman, and we got Booker T. So here's the big thing. There's two big things. We'll need to check out both injuries. We'll check those out real quick. Then we'll have a couple things to go over, and then we'll go usual post-batch overdose changes and all the other fun stuff. But let's just see what's going on. It is Rambo. Interesting. This is the Mexican Rambo, I think. Not the Rambo who was at every Maryland indie show in the mid-90s. Okay, still rolling. See, this downside of a big, anyway. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, okay, so, yeah, Dumas is injured. Yeah, we got some buy rates. I don't care. So yeah, medical-wise. Booker T, okay, so he basically has the same thing as Jason Jett. What the hell? Lizzy Dumas damage, but she's fine. She's out for 2 days. Okay. So, we can make that a storyline. we could easily make that a storyline. We're sort of ignoring it with Jason Jett because he's a heel, but with Booker T, like, interesting. Okay. So yeah. So one thing I did want to do before we move forward is actually go over. Well, actually, I'll do that at the end. Because anybody who wants to wait that long can look that long. So yeah. Anyways, for quick check of the creative, RVD is our number 1 guy. Goldberg's number 2 is interesting. Ray's 3, Eddie's 4, Truth is still 5. Next big things: Angel Fox, Jeff Hardy, Yang, Ray LePen, Claudio Cesaro. I mean, that's the game telling me some actually push some people. Hot prospect is Angel Fox, Liz Alexander, Lexi James, Lila Vez, Yang. Who's hot is Booker, Ray, Hardy, Jarrett, Kanyon. Okay. Let's see here. If we look at our storylines, Challenges Everywhere is at a 72. Lost some because it wasn't on the show, which I probably should have pushed forward. Against the Darkness is at a 55. Again, makes sense. Captivating Nitro is at a 71. Dangerous Challenge is at an 88. More Than a Pretty Face is at a 70. Never Noble is at a 72. Not Wrestling on Laurels is at an 89. Tag Title feud is at a 79. The Respect feud is at an 84. The Cruiser feud is at a 60. Angle Kittens at an 86. Aries Chow is at a 75. Expanding Horizons at a 75 as well. Mind Over Gold is at an 87. Money Man is at a 79. New Effing Show is at a 74. Palumbo Cannon's at a 77. And Walking into Wars at an 84. So there you go. If we go to our roster, and okay, so let's just start out. Okay, so popularity-wise, let's see. AJ, my brother. You're sort of stuck at 86, which is beginning to worry. That's your pop cap, and we don't have a good gimmick for you. So anyway, so let's see here. Look at Jeff. Did you lose a lot from doing the job? Because as a note, Jarrett was not happy about doing the job here. I don't know why. Oh, he lost a point. Jesus Christ, Jarrett, we'll get that back. Now for the week. So Alex Wright, how much did you go? Okay, so Alex Wright was at an 85. He was okay. So he basically like earned. Oh, he's now an 85 basically everywhere. So, 85 might be his pop cap. If he got like, that's interesting. He was at a 77, 70 here. But if he's at 85 now, that might be an 85 as pop cap unless we change his gimmick. So Goldberg. Okay, Goldberg is still stupidly popular. He got a 92. Yeah, he lost 3 points, but we can rebuild that in like 2 matches. Kidman. I mean, Kidman's Kidman, so he probably didn't like. Yeah, he lost like. Yeah, he actually gained a point because he had a great match. Kurt, are you can you lose overness because you're in a lesser fed? Yeah. Hopefully, like. It's weird he's only started, so I had an overness 90. I'm sure this is a weird momentum thing, which should hopefully fix itself in the next couple weeks. It was before he had a terrible gimmick, so I think that might be the other thing. Anyway, okay, so just let's look over the rest of the card. Annie Vidal, let's see here. How are you doing as far as overness, buddy? Okay, a little bit of an increase. Let's see here. Booker T, yeah, you're injured. I'm sorry, buddy. I mean, Booker's still weirdly over. Like, look, he could be our top guy if he wasn't getting old. Brother Ray. Again, 81 might be his pop cap. Let's see here. Palumbo did the job here, but he's still really over as a top heel. Yeah, he's like 2 points more over than he was before, so there you go. Is he now more over than he was as world champion? That can't be true. No, okay, when he was world champion, yeah, that was his peak. Let's see here. Jack Evans, did you get hurt by losing that match to Monty? I'm expecting not. Okay, no, you gained a point, or at least you had gained a point prior. Let's see here. Jim, we already checked. Kanyon, we don't really care. Kaz, did you lose any by doing the job to Shelton? I hope not. Nope. You're still Kaz. You're still great. Getting Sharpe, did you lose any points by doing the job to London? I'm thinking, no, okay, you're about the same. You actually gained a point because of the great match. Anderson, did you lose any points by doing the job in the tag match? Yep, okay, that was sort of what we were afraid of, but we can rebuild that pretty quickly. Let's see here. Maverick Chance, have you... Yeah, you're still, unfortunately, not that over. I mean, you're up another 10 points. You got that going for you. Mesias, yeah, we're building you still. Monty Brown, how did the victory over Jack Evans give you? Again, 84, big pop. 84 might be your pop cap. Let's see here. Paul London. Okay, yeah, about the same. Interesting that he lost. I'm thinking he did a job on the way here. Let's see here. Workhorse Roberts. Ooh, okay. You. Yeah, okay. Are you like really not? No, you're weirdly over in the tri-state, but like, okay, you did the job too. Right. Okay. I mean, I'll have to rebuild you a bit. Let's see here. Van Dam. Yeah, Van Dam is at an 88. Let's see here. Anybody else on the Shelton? Did you gain any by getting the win over Kaz? A point. And Truth, did you lose a lot from doing the job? It would be hilarious if Anderson lost more than Truth, and he totally did. That is hilarious. Titus, did you gain any from getting the big win over Truth? Survey says. Okay, so that was worth it, because Anderson lost a couple points, but Tom goes up 10, and he can now be like at least a mid-card power guy. So yeah, there we are. Oh yeah, Tricia Skye, did you lose a lot from doing the losing? Let's see here. You were at 79. You lost a couple points. I mean, you're not quite where you're at the top when you were champion. Let me check out Nikita. Okay, yeah, Nikita. Ooh, Nikita might be stuck at 75. Whenever everybody has the same overness everywhere, I begin. Oh, what the hell? Did you? Oh, right. Okay. Right. Okay, when they did the job on night. Huh. Okay, I guess that makes sense. They did two jobs to lower teams. Okay. I mean, you still got the win at the pay-per-view here, so you should be a little more over. That's weird that you're now less. I mean, are you actually now less over than you were? No, you're basically at where you were when you won the title. Okay. That's weird. Interesting. Anyway, so yeah, next up, of course, is I believe, yeah, Sacrifice, which is a Nitro show. Then Wrestle War is a Revolution show. Then Rising Sun Revolution is not a show that will be shown on the channel. It'll going to be a Japan only show. And Slamboree, which will be our next both branded shows. Before we go, I'm going over the sort of final in-canon results for the year-end awards. First, as a quick note, I find it interesting the best match of the show, I think, got the least hype for. Yeah. Anyway. So, we got Wrestle Crap of the Year. So, Tactical Switcheroo got a 0%, which is interesting. Ray Jr. Short Towering got a 10%. Kidman as WCW Champion got 15%. Roman Empire Disappearing got 30%. And the Deadpool storyline got a 45%. Now, it'll be interesting if the Nest storyline also gets this percentage, which may tell me like half the people paying attention just don't care about the spooky stuff. Hopefully, the Nest stuff is a little more entertaining than the end of the Deadpool Nest storyline. Then we got the 2020-22 NXT Call Up Memorial Award for Bad DPQ years. So Trevor Slater and Vivez and Rojona both got 0%. Either that shows people don't care. This one only got 12 votes. Maybe people were confused about the award, or because it was a 2-award day, they just overlooked it. Anyway, Secretson got 8%, Keith Parker got 17%, and overwhelming 75% got Kai Graves. So on one side, he only got 9 votes, but on the other side, he got 75%. So I'll have to think about bringing him back. For non-wrestler of the year, sort of an interesting thing is Teddy Long, Revolution GM, got 8%. Stacy Kiebler as Ninkyo Cosmetic got 13%. Raven Rain got 13%. Paul Heyman got 25%. And Bischoff got 43%. I mean, they've been about even as far as being part of the show. I guess people just like Bischoff's sort of like slimy ratings over everything character more than anything else. Or they just don't like my voice I do for Teddy Long, which is fair. We got Booker Hates a Skye Award, which Lance Storm 5% and Eddie 5%. At least people understand Storm's getting at least a decent push, and Eddie Harder isn't that good yet. T-Series 20%, which, yeah, I mean, Doro at 25%. It's not my fault. He had bad chemistry with everybody. And Chavo Jr. at 45%, which probably isn't helped by his recurring feud with Austin Aries. So yeah, there we go. Moment of the year. This is basically a weird, so RVD intro Paul Heyman got a 0%. I had Brother Ray attacking the chosen few outside the club. But then we got Laura Powerbomb go off the stage at got 11%. Sting Gage Cruncher by Trevor got 22%. And Ray winning the title got 67%. I'm thinking I probably should not have included Ray winning the title because these were all moments while that was a match. So maybe I need to figure out a better moment. Show of the year. So Mayhem got 0%, which is it's weird that this was the moment of the year, but it got no votes for show of the year. Maybe people don't like, I'm doing it. So for show of the year, we got Superbrawl getting 12%, Starkid getting 18%, Samurai getting 24%, and of course Bound for Glory getting 47% because of our first 100, which makes sense. Then we got Feud of the Year, so Cartier versus Gil King got 0%. Again, to be fair, I didn't have like a lot of like long women's feud. There's some stuff, but it was mostly undercard stuff more than anything else, so that makes sense. Anyway, we got Brother Ray versus Chosen Few at 12%, AMW versus Hardy's versus Ninkyo at 12%, Ray versus RVD at 32%, and Keenan versus Eddie at 44%. Now, I think this is some just what wrestlers people like, because honestly, personally, again, you can have your own. Like, I actually did like the Kane and Eddie feud. Ray Jr. and RVD feud was good near the end, as we built up over like our, Ray Jr. sort of like being turned on by his friend. But I did like sort of like the long simmering summer feud. Maybe you just didn't like the fact that like, random teams mates Brother Ray had, and I get why people didn't like the three-way feud. Anyway, after that we got Heel of the Year, which RVD got 0 votes, which is fair. He only was heel for like half the year. Kalt got 4%, Kidman got 12%, Chuck Mom got 23%, but running away with it is Eddie Guerrero with 62%. This could be just people like putting Eddie's real life character at this point inside, but also he was a solid heel character on the show as well. Like top guy, feud with everybody, all that fun stuff. We got Face of the Year, and this was just another runaway. So we got Tricia, London, Hardy's Brother Ray, but overall AJ Styles, he's the man. He gets something 76%, and that makes sense. He was the face that runs this place, as he says. Then we had Best Women's Wrestler of the Year. So we had Nikita Kalt at 10%. She had the good run near the end of the year. Tricia Skye at 15%. Jingle at 20%. But Gil Kim overall with 55%. I mean, to be fair, she was sort of like the strongest, consistent part of the show. Like, Tricia had sort of like a not great start of the year. Jingle tailed off at the end of the year. Kalt only came on at the end of the year. But Gil Kim was like a solid. And she like sort of ruled the summer with her feud with Cartier and eventually Skye. Tag Team of the Year, again, sort of makes sense. Booker and Shelton only came hot at the end of the year. Hardy's came in half the year. Ninkyo sort of only got the big push at the end of the year. Evolution, I think people just like the idea of Evolution and for managing these guys. And AMW were consistent top guys throughout the year. And then, Male Wrestler of the Year, the last one. So Kidman gets 0 votes, which is just hilarious. I mean, I would almost make that into an angle. RVD 5%, Ray Jr. 9%. Again, they were both world champions for not that long. Palumbo, 14%, but your overall, 73%. So, yeah, fun stuff. And, I don't agree with all these awards, but hey, it's people watching. So, that's up to you guys. So, I totally get that. But yeah, that is it. So, again, hopefully, I mean, honestly, it's near the end of the year for anybody who comes across this later on. So, I'll probably just be keeping to the WCW series, at least for the rest of this year. During this sort of a quasi-winter break, I might think of maybe what to bring back, what to restart, what to, do again. But if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give a like, comment below what you're liking and not liking, and of course, subscribe to the channel for plenty of this series at least, and maybe some other stuff, maybe some Basketball GM, maybe some Journey of Wrestling bringing back, maybe some other series. We'll just see what time I have and what I get motivated to do. But that's it for now, so talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.